yes, like
please more.
what? Like, yeah, what is happening right now? So that
Sounds like you might
about
never
sums up
leave
my
just for the Dota
so far.
experience here, mate.
Yeah, I might accidentally lose my passport or something.
That's exactly what T-Gov's done.
But
No, I'm in Ukraine.
yeah, how long have you been here now?
4 months or so, maybe.
Yeah,
4 or 5 months.
Like,
yeah.
nearly 5 months, probably.
Yeah, pretty decent time. It's good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've done like a year and 4 months. I mean, something about Ukraine. Once you get here, it's like you're just never leaving.
Yeah, all Dota talent for this event.
Good food, lots of esports. WePlay, like you're just winning.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. Just like bait in the draft, though. You know, I think they're winning right now.
Okay.
Reasons? Well, you first pick an Enchantress, and it's the Mirana support pick straight after. Again, it's a very classic counter to Enchantress because it's that early arrow. You're never really pressured by the creep coming to lane. And I think that's the main reason why they felt confident with the Axe pick was because this Ench support was fully kind of removed. So normally, Axe off lane, he's bullied from the aggression of like both 5 and carry together bullying the Axe. And now you have this Mirana. I think the Axe will have a pretty kind of chill time in that lane.
Question is, will he?
Yeah,
So BSJ
I was gonna say, like, there's not too many
bad
bad matchups right now, right?
You're right there, BSJ?
Yeah. I was kind of fumbling a thought too. I think his lane will be pretty easy, no matter what, really. I think a lot of carries this patch aren't nearly as about the lane domination as they were last patch. I don't think that's as important. They might go something like a troll, like that. That's pretty much the only thing I see left. Spectre is like a traditional Axe counter. Usually Axe likes to shove the lane and dive you. Spectre's one of the hardest heroes in the game to dive. And then it's also really scary to initiate mid-game on a Spectre. Like, you don't really like initiating onto Spectre because that's kind of what Spectre wants you to do. But then also, when you initiate as Axe, Spectre can haunt if you go on somebody else, and it makes it hard for your team to follow up the initiation. So that's like the other option. Spectre's also really annoying. Like this patch, I think she's really good. I've been seeing her a lot in pubs and NA, and then I also see her in EU. So I guess that means, that the hero's pretty strong. A lot of the carries have been banned out so far from both sides. I would imagine maybe like an anti-mage as a response for bait. Looks pretty decent so far. Rubik, kind of annoying, but really not as much as it used to be. They go for the instant Viper counter. Okay.
Very strong counter.
Break mechanic.
Yeah, I think...
Especially with Enchantress too.
The yesterday, I think, or the day before, BSJ, you touched on how the itemization from NA to EU. And I'd like to see the Spectre do an EU build, go for the drums, the Manta, actually try and take an early fight or two. Because if you try and out-farm this and just play for go greedy early on, I think the bait aggression will be too much and your Spectre will just be a non-factor for all these fights. So hopefully EU build, not NA build, try and take an early fight.
Yeah, he'll probably need a third item BKB. You almost always have to go BKB on Spectre versus Viper specifically, because there's not too many other ways to play around it, especially when you're against a hero like Axe that can reliably lock you down. The thing about the Spectre pick is it's nice against Axe, but I think the support duo is super annoying for it. Mirana's ult is pretty good counter to yours. You can buy dust for yourself and everything, but that's still pretty annoying. And then on top of that, Disruptor, Spectre is a carry that relies on mobility in the early to mid game, and just being able to dagger through trees and juke you. And Disruptor is one of the best supports against that. So it's not like some beautiful perfect pick, and it is kind of a win condition hero. So now that they've also just said FU with this Viper pick, I feel like you have a Spectre carry that's going to need to be made space for a little while, or have some heavy weight on the shoulders of these other heroes in the first 10 to 15 minutes. And I saw a Wind Ranger picked yesterday against Huskar and it lost. I would have to imagine it goes about even with a Viper, right? Do you have any experience on this matchup, T-Gov?
I think it's mainly the fact that you have the Wind Run to deal with the poison attack, so you're going to be able to kite out a couple of those hits, but I'm not too much of a fan of it. Doesn't feel too nice. Mike, I was looking more towards maybe an Invoker mid. Because naturally with Orbs, you're going to have the regen to deal with the early kind of damage from Viper. And with that Quas Vex build, you can just run around, be that aggressor, have that Thompson-esque style, and it might give you just enough time to get the Spectre to his key items. With Windrunner, in this matchup, it's sure, you might be able to survive the lane, but are you really going to have enough to truly put your mark on the map? Or are you still going to be waiting for like your damage item to come out? And unless, big brain, they put the Rubik mid against the Viper to steal the break from Viper, and then they get to play around that. So therefore, Viper's never tanky, and it's a win on a 4. That could be like the big play.
IQ play coming in.
Yeah, I could see that. I've seen a few core Rubiks in my EU pubs, so maybe you know, maybe
I'm not a fan
I've
of it,
heard
but...
crazier things.
5 seconds remaining.
What do you think of MOTACI now, though? You feeling like this is slightly better, or they put themselves into a similar situation?
I feel like their draft, if you just like look at both of them so far, they have the same fundamental errors of like, who's the guy that walks up front? Who's the guy that's like sieging a tower? Like, no, so not sieging a tower, but like how they're actually approaching a big team fight. Like, what's the construct outside of like one hero doing that work? And right now, they don't have that hero. They're still looking for the one like off-lane hero to stand up and go forward. So it's so easy for Bait to go, okay, so what do we need to do to win this fight? Okay, we need to prevent Spectre's early farm, and then we need to shut down their offlaner, and then they're going to feel lost on the map. Even if they see us, they're not going to be able to do anything to us. Like damage-wise as well, what is their early damage? Rubik, maybe if you get some early levels, Windrunner with the items, but they're still very much waiting for a late timing. It's same philosophy as the first draft, but just add 20 minutes to their draft, and then they can play Dota.
Spectre's always leaves the potential to throw the game from the other team's perspective. Yeah. So I wonder if they will mix it up with the Wind Ranger 4 here, but I have to imagine they're trying to partner it up with the Slardar as a core, because Wind Ranger's only issue is kind of like early mid-game damage, and Slardar solves that a lot. The only issue I have with Slardar is they haven't seen the carry yet, so usually Slardar likes to be... He likes very specific matchups in the carry role. So the fact that they like banned out Slark Anti-Mage, 2 of Sardar's best matchups, I think they were planning this Timbersaw, because that would make a lot of sense based on their 2 bans in the last round. And then, whoa, is that a... Okay. So yeah, carry Morphling. I like Morphling a lot against Slardar. I like it versus Wind Ranger because you can steal the Wind Run, and you also do magic burst damage. But through the Wind Run, and once again, I like a lot of the Bait's draft. I think Slardar has a lot of weight on his shoulders to carry the mid game, as I said. Not the best lane matchup versus Morphling. Wind Ranger, I think it goes at best even against against Viper. So they're gonna have to have some throwy plays by Bait. I think they're gonna have to bait to overextend in order to take this one.
It almost sounds like we're in the exact same position as game 1.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen, mate.
Not going to happen.
No.
You got no hope for him at all.
I don't. I think Bait. It's the Morphling's going to have a very chill time in bot lane. They needed some early tower damage, and Morphling naturally can do that. He has very good right click. They've got the counter to Spectre, and overall their timing just feels a lot more comfortable. They have damage throughout the entire game. Whilst I think MOTACI, they're very much reliant on, like BSJ said, Bait have to make some big mistakes, punish that, and then eventually maybe they get a free Roshan with the Slardar. Maybe they get to play the map, but it's just such a scary time to play the game. I think Bait just showed they're a better team in the first game, so yeah, Bait will take it.
2-0 again,
2-0, yeah.
even when we were thinking it could be 3.
Nah, 2-0, mate.
I love how you changed from the beginning of the day. You give me all this hope once again.
Yeah, but like that was kind of like a blind hope, where like I see other regions doing 2-1, and it might just be like the trickle down from region to region. But then I see game 1 and go, okay, unfortunately, after that game, it will be most likely a 2-0, especially with this draft as well.
Well, let's see if it's going to be a 2-0 as you continue to disappoint me, my amazing advisor. You're going to eventually get demoted at this point. BSJ Tiga, thank you very much for all of your thoughts on that. We're going to be back with Cinderella and Sunsfan to take us through the action. Are you guys all in on Bait as well?
Oh, I never thought I'd say those words, but absolutely all in on Bait right now. Cinderin, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, I think based on game 1, you would need to, to win me over as MOTACI, you need to just crush the draft and get off to something that I would believe in. But I think they might run into the same problem as game 1, where can they take the initiative that they need to put pressure on Bait? Because I think this last pick Morphling will have an almost free game if his laning stage goes well.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you please unmute on the thing that we're using? You already screwed up but thank you. Yeah. Okay, now I can hear you, and everyone still.
I'm sure it was Sunsfan's fault here. I think I did everything right, and you needed to unmute me. But thanks for unmuting me. Yeah.
Fine.
So basically, TLDR and what I said. Yeah, I think Bait are clear favorites. I think they've done a good job in both games so far of just counterpicking specific heroes during the draft. Like the Viper response to the Spectre. You're going to be laning against Windranger, which is a pretty good Windranger lane. I think it's one of the best heroes against Viper in that mid lane. But even then, based on game number 1, I think Dendi will be completely fine. And once again, Bait looking for them to take initiative. This time they have the Disruptor support to play very aggressive and look for kills. Play fast.
Yeah, Disruptor on his very weird-looking mount. What is it? Has wings? It's like an insect mount or something.
What is it called, actually? Raging Bug Idol. Wait, that's...
Raging Bug.
Wait, what's the mount called? The mount is called Gyrus?
Well, at the same time, Cinderin, they do have the disgusting Viper set that also looks like an insect that somehow got into the game.
No, they don't.
So
oh, he has pieces of it, but not the full one. Okay.
Okay, you're right. The helm is incorrect. That's true. It looks a little bit prettier as a result.
The helm is the one that really makes it.
That's true. It is the coup de grace in some ways. Let's talk about the lane matchups right now. We have Curry on the Spectre, going to be teaming up with Muff. I don't know why I have so much pleasure saying his name every time. Muff or Moof on the Rubik. And they're going to be versus the Last Hero Axe and 5-up Dota on the Mirana. What do you think of these lanes right now for the top?
This is a really good lane for Axe. It's super easy. Spectre doesn't pose much of a threat at all. Rubik 5 doesn't have enough damage, so you're basically going to just push, farm the wave. You can start cutting as soon as you're level 3, start farming small camp when you cut, and Mirana can just bully off the Rubik, and nothing's going to happen to this Axe at all. It's way too tanky. So I think Last Hero will have the best laning stage out of everyone. I think he'll be the top net worth minute 10 if things go the way they should, which is definitely concerning. That's what you don't want to do when you give the enemy team Axe. You don't want to let him have that free laning stage, but correct me if I'm wrong, Bait first phased this hero, right? I think they picked it really... I think their first phase was Axe Mirana, and I have not seen MOTACI try to deal with this Axe from a draft perspective in laning stage. They haven't put him under pressure in any way with the choices that they made. So his game should be great.
Doing great right now, as he talked about. Has plenty of health regeneration to go along with it. But let's talk about each respective lane before we get to the actual action. Dendi in the mid lane, Viper versus the Windrunner Mambos. Panel kind of talked about this. What are your thoughts?
I think it's one of the best matchups against Viper in mid, the Windranger. So the fact that Mambos is behind as much as he is right now is definitely concerning. Windranger has obviously the wind run, right? But also just the ability at level 6 to actually find solo kills on Viper, since you don't have any real mobility. Once you have a Javelin or Windrunner or something like that, you can go for those kills. You can bully in the start in the laning stage because Viper can't fight back. But despite that, Dendi has been crushing him. As we do get the first blood bottom, though, from Enchantress onto the Disruptor. So at least something good from MOTACI there. The start of the game.
Yep, and that's the Disruptor Morph lane versus Slardar Enchantress. Does that surprise you at all that that's where First Blood came from?
Not in particular. I think Enchantress will very often just be involved in First Bloods. Coming in now with a pretty garbage creep here, but even then, after the changes to Enchant, even the bad creeps are just so tanky.
Yeah,
it's something.
Well, in terms of the CS for the position 1s right now, Spectre 14-3 against that Axe, and Chrysalis' Morphling 13-1. So both off to a little bit of a slow start in that regard. We'll see how that goes in the next couple minutes, though. I should mention, it's probably the most important thing. MOTACI has a team logo now, Cinderin.
Yes.
And can you describe that for me in the best way possible?
What is it? Is it a man holding a whip and a cane?
Yeah, I don't think it's a cane. I think it's all a whip, actually.
Oh, it's a whip in either hand.
I think
now it makes me wonder what their team name means.
I'm really interested. If it's something more sexual in nature, or if it's harmless. You know, if it just has nothing to do with their actual name, that's going to capture my attention for the rest of the series, I do believe, which is based on predictions, might just be this game. So maybe we can get a post-game interview with them afterwards. But congratulations, you have lost the series. What we need to know is Fishman gets initiated on in the bot lane. So that's a 2-0 advantage now for MOTACI. The Whip Boys, as we like to call them in the business.
Yeah.
Crystal's getting pressured down as well. Got this Satyr, though. Oh, it is denied.
Nicely done. Yeah, so at the very least, this bottom lane for MOTACI, they're getting kills. Slardar is finding good farm as well. They've definitely done a good job down here. But once again, both Axe and Viper having a good start for Bait kind of just offsets the overall kill advantage.
Oh, the
nice arrow.
Top lane.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, only level 1 on the Starstorm.
Oh, maybe
So
not
not
dead,
able to get the
actually.
kill.
Well, he failed the
Battle
CS. He's going to Fair Fire and TP out
TP
to
back
not
quick.
die.
TP!
This
Bottom
is
lane, in the
when...
meantime, Tip Tech takes heavy damage but lives. And that
How
would have
little
been the
faith
saddest
can you have
battle
in
under
CSing
kill.
under the tower? There were 2 creeps here. I think he missed the
Rubik.
first one, and then he Fairy Fire TP'd out instead of trying to kill the second one. So, anyway, he stays alive.
I can definitely relate.
Oh,
It's a
Fishman
lot of
again.
pressure. Yeah, he's taking
He's
a lot of
definitely
damage
being
with
bullied
this
here.
annoying Stormcrafter Harpy. Chrysalis. Looks like he's going to go in, though.
Oh,
The
wow.
waveform is more than enough, and he's going to take the pesky
Twas a
creep out
bait.
as well. It was. 2-1 advantage now. For MOTACI.
Invisibility.
This logo is actually driving me crazy. I can't stop thinking about it. All right, I'm going to pretend it's not there for a little bit here. Invisibility rune picked up by 5 up. Oh, it's actually going to be shown with this sentry. And Muff does not actually show that there's a sentry there. That was nice restraint not to auto-attack.
Radiant
But I do believe that he did see that he probably placed it. He's probably looking at his inventory.
Bottom lane again. Fishman
That's
this time,
Fishman.
he's probably not living. If there's another impetus, he put
Oh,
ward to try
hides
to
in the
get it, but
trees.
Fishman fogged him. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, that adaptive strike actually was not enough.
Oh, raindrop.
He
very
walked away.
powerful.
Yeah, he walked away as if he had gotten it, but shame, shame, shame.
Nice
kill
moves from
there.
Fishman, though, to get into that little corner in the fog instantly when the ward gets dropped. I think he already doesn't have a sentry flying out, but I'm assuming he does realize that happened, so he can try to get some extra gold here by centering that ward away and get some good experience. But yeah, nice statement there.
Chrysalis has to go against this disgusting tomato of death. We all know how disgusting tomatoes are, of course. So that is a creep you do have to worry about. Gonna cancel the salve onto Tip Tech. And I mean, you were talking about the CS for Dendi. It is actually absurd. 69-8 versus a 41-12. And then Chrysalis, I mean, his CS is not great, but the other lanes are just dominating right now. He's going to take more heavy temperatures. We're going to see the first haunt of the game, in fact. Before Moray's Chrysalis. The best looks like Dendi's going to go down in the mid lane. In the meantime, Fishman does get off the glimpse just in time, but the impetus is enough to finish him off now. So it's a 2-for-0 across the map. As MOTACI getting off to a very good
arrow
start
from
in terms
5
of the
up.
kills. He's going to expend all his leaps, and now he's in precarious spot, and they're going to clean him up very easily. Again, Adaptive Strike does nothing. Raindrop on cooldown, so Chrysalis misjudging his damage output right now. He's going to morph up right now. He gets back into the crush, and again, a kill for MOTACI.
It's really good for them that they're finding all these kills because of how out-farmed they're getting mid and top. So it's so crucial that these moves work. And nice job by the Slaughter there, especially. I think Tipic had a very good read on just how far he could go. Just really kept... It's like sometimes it just gets boring hitting Morphling, right? It's like, what does it matter, you know? But he kept laying into him. He had the feeling that they could eventually overpower him, and he was right. So, good stuff. Good use of the Haunt, too, from Curry to get that kill on Dendi mid. You definitely want to get your Spectre involved in this game. When you get that level 6 Haunt top, or sorry, Call top, rather. Curry in a lot of trouble.
Oh, the Culling Blade wasn't quite in range. He's going to get bashed up onto the tower now. More TPs in the form of Enchantress, but last hero, he's more than fine. He has the early Vanguard and Phase Boots at 9 minutes. It looks like Rubik takes a spill in the Radiant jungle.
Oh, Chrysalis is in trouble again.
He's
He has a
morphing up right
waveform.
now. Waveform. He's going to continue to get chased. Adaptive Strike. Looks like that'll be enough.
I mean, he might live,
Still.
but man, 29 CS. His game is...
Easy shot.
It's not pretty. Somehow has the same net worth as Slardar, but
they did destroy mid in terms of CS at least. The Viper actually looks like because of that kill, Dendi and the Windrunner Mambos are actually pretty even.
5 up. Can you find a lead?
Yeah.
The ward is still there.
Fire is enough. So
It's
they
like,
never
wait,
actually
what?
got rid of that.
No, they didn't realize earlier. Our last hero doesn't get the
because of
rune.
that kill mid, Cinderin, the mid has kind of evened out to a degree. So it's really about Axe if you're on Bait's perspective. As Enchantress is going to steal this bounty rune will almost certainly be the death of this hero. Blade is available when he gets low enough. That was not low enough.
He had stick.
Yep, the stick just in time. And it's always annoying chasing a hero down here. But
Okay.
there you go.
Made them really work for it and got 2 bounty runes.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that was still great, for sure.
I do want to
Same.
talk a bit about Axe. I was watching a game earlier where he went for... I mean, the fact that the talents have changed here a bit it makes me want to
Curry.
really talk about
He's going to
Axe.
get glimpsed here.
The glimpse into the kinetic field. He has pretty much no mana to speak of.
Oh, what? They don't have culling?
Call. They don't have that much damage. Yeah, no calling blade to finish him off, but the Thunderstrike is enough as Fishman claims that kill. Moonlight Shadow still applied, but it doesn't look like they'll really need it to hide.
So what were you
Axe.
saying about Axe?
I don't know if we'll have time to talk about it, Senator. It's probably like a 20-minute conversation, you know.
Yeah?
But they did change around his talents a bit, so the attack speed is now on the 10 talent, and the 15 is attacking procs counter helix.
Yep.
So you've been seeing the Manta style pick up lately. Talk to me about how that works, because it sounds hilarious and fun, but is it good? Must be if people are picking it up. You're going to have to hold that thought yet again, Cinder. I told you we don't have time. Damn you. Dendi in the bot lane. Shackled. Mamos actually expends the focus fire, but it's not enough to actually take a kill here.
Dude, that was
the Haunt
weird.
back into the top lane, though. Last hero inside the kinetic field. There's the Culling Blade. Finally, the first chop of the game. He's able to claim for himself. Glimpse, probably not enough as Fishman's going to get chased by Curry. Doesn't have the Spectral Dagger, but won't need it. So a 2-for-1 in the top lane here.
Has been killed.
Talk to me about Axe and
Yeah, so there was a build that people were going in the past, like not very much in Pro Dota, of course, but it was it might have been in 1 or 2 games, but I've definitely seen it in high-level pub games with Axe, where you go Manta because of the attacking procs counter helix talent, which works fully on illusions. So once you get the Manta, you blink call someone, you pop Manta, and your damage output is so much higher because of the attack speed you get from it. You take the attack speed talent, and you just keep getting spins, basically, right? It also has an added benefit of being insane for split pushing. As we know, Illusion Rune on Axe is amazing. You just push waves for free. When you have a Manta, you can do that. So it's like a really nice benefit. But the big change, well, Tipic will die here, I think. Yep. And they will escape. The big thing about this Axe change is the level 15 counter helix. Level 20 is pretty late in a lot of games for any hero, right? So getting that 5 levels earlier really opens up for going, say, Blink into Manta straight away. Whereas in the past, if you went Blink Manta, maybe it would be level 16, and you'd be like, is it worth it just for the split push when you don't have the aggressive potential? But now it's definitely interesting. I believe you said you saw it in one of the Asian games today, right? They went Blink BKB and then Manta, was it?
Yep, Blink
I think
BKB
this game
Manta.
This game, Blink Manta would be nice. You know, get rid of Corrosive Haze. It's one of Axe's biggest problems in this game. I think it's nice. I like it.
That sounds incredible. It's actually dangerous for me to be seeing this because I will definitely be spamming that in my pubs, for better or worse. Usually for worse, of course. As Fishmen,
Stolen Glimpse.
Get Glimpse and a stolen Rubik. They're going to claim him fairly easily. Actually uses his ult as well. But that's that big of a deal. 80 seconds cooldown for now.
So, like, if we look at the status of this game now compared to Game 1, I think MOTACI are in a much, much better spot. Spectre is very rich. The Windrunner is ahead of Viper. So, basically, 2 of their cores are ahead of the competition. Starter is not looking too hot compared to Axe, but that's to be expected. Axe's lane was outstanding this game. It was a very easy game for him to play. But MOTACI are definitely transforming into a mid-game timing here where they can use Corrosive Haze plus this Wind Ranger with Javelin and just really get to work on killing heroes. So once again, I would love to see what they didn't do too much in game 1, which was take initiative. Whereas in this game, I've seen them be a lot more kill hungry and putting pressure. That's what you need to do. There's the blink reveal from last hero, though.
Yeah, Slardar already at half health right now, and it looks like that's going to be more than enough to chop him down. Last hero's going to take some heavy damage.
Glimpse
but
on glimpse
out. Yeah.
Who's still here? Wait.
It's just Enchantress and Rubik that remain now, as Rubik's going to be stuck inside a kinetic field, but another blink call into Culling Blade. Second kill for last hero in just this engagement alone.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
This might break things up for the most part, as Mambo shows himself very close to finishing his MKB. Gets blink called again. He actually stayed around, but there's a haunt to counteract this into the Fade Bolt, doing ridiculous amounts of damage. That's 2 kills off the immediate. Dendy's third. Oh my goodness, his turnaround is actually huge, but Curry getting quite low himself. He does have the Midas along with the Treads and the Yasha. Lives with a sliver of HP, but a great turnaround for MOTACI. They took out that whip, and well, they did stuff with the whip, Cinder. Let's just say that.
Wait, does Fishman think he's going to get this kill?
I like the confidence, you know. Gets the glimpse off onto the Slardar. Gonna get Spectral Dagger.
He's dead, I think.
He has Kinetic
Good
Field
feel.
Center. He's a fish. He's very elusive in nature. He's gonna get into the river, and they will never catch him again. Watch and learn. No blink on Slardar.
He's actually
Fishman
out.
is good to go. I told you.
Yeah,
See?
good call.
Have confidence. Thank you.
This is a rich Spectre, man. I'm a bit worried for bait now compared to what I was before. You have the hard counter in Viper, but you can itemize around that as Spectre. I think what you do this game is you get this Manta style, and then maybe you get Diffusal, and then BKB. Like Spectre eventually in most games against Viper will need BKB as a solution to Nether Toxin. The good news is when Spectre does have a BKB here, it's also kind of a pseudo counter to Morphling's E-Blade build. So then you solve that like 2 problems at once. Unless the Morphling goes another build, which is exactly what Crystallis just changed. He had an Eagle Horn queued up, and now he switched it over into... No, he's still going for it. Never mind, he still has the Eagle Song there. So he will go E-Blade Manta, it looks like. Spectre is going to be really strong in this game, I think. Despite the bad matchup against Viper, this game's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of aggression so far from Bait. Maybe they didn't start early enough, I'm not sure. I mean, the Blink Dagger came out... All things considered, they got the Vanguard phase boots like instantly, it felt like.
Yeah.
Blink Dagger a little bit delayed, maybe than he would have wanted, slowed down a bit. But now that he has it, they've been running around pretty consistently. They haven't found the Spectre, really, right? That's kind of the point you're trying to make. He's been kind of free to use his Midas off cooldown pretty much every time. Actually picked up the Iron Talon in the jungle, which is probably the perfect item.
It is one of the downsides to Bait's draft in this game compared to game 1. I feel like Dendy is night and day compared to the first game, just off of hero pick alone, right? Like your Viper, you're not gonna make those big rotation moves like your Puck does, where you're quickly going somewhere, getting kills, putting pressure. Viper is a lot more about winning its lane, pushing waves with Nether Toxin, and then being in team fights that happen around you because you're immobile by nature. He's bought travels to compensate for that, which is nice, but definitely not the like standout performance from Dendy we saw in game 1 so far. That's mainly just like what are you supposed to do as Viper in this game to dominate, right?
Yeah, I mean he did do well in lane, obviously, and not to harp on this anymore,
definitely
but I think
he did.
The biggest,
better than he should.
I don't know if it's I guess it is a criticism. The biggest criticism of Dendy is that he's stuck in the past. At least that's what the naysayers say, right? That he only really stands out on the flashy, mobile mid heroes, like the TAs, the Pucks, like you said. So when you have a Viper, I mean, did well in lane, but is that enough? We'll see. It's definitely not. It doesn't feel like it's his playstyle. That's kind of what my point is, for better or worse.
And the other thing is, if Dendy is put on a Viper here, and then your carry is also Morphling that lost its lane, there's just so little play potential, right? The other 3 heroes of Bait are doing their best to make moves, especially Axe. I feel like it's really been involved together with the Disruptor. But you don't have so many pieces to move with. And then on the other side, you have a Wind Ranger who's very quick, has an MKB, can move around. You always have Haunt. Slardar has Sprint and Drum. Enchantress, naturally quick hero. So they are able to run at Bait and just flat out take the fight to them. The only thing they kind of need to avoid is that it becomes a flat out 5-on-5 where they cluster up and get jumped by Axe. We even have Haunt to deal with that, so it's not too bad, right? The smoke.
A lot of pressure on last hero. I mean, he kind of has to channel his inner Seb in a lot of ways. have a ridiculous performance on Axe to make up space for the Morphling to get a little bit more farm.
This is a good kill they could find here.
Link is available. There's the call on the Windrunner. They have enough to actually finish her off to start the fight. They get the Culling Blade. They're going to get the kill, but the Culling Blade, of course, on cooldown. Rubik, the kinetic field not enough to actually keep him in place. Static Storm's already used, but he's going to cancel the TP, so Rubik stays in place, gets a nice Fade Bolt off. Looks like the chase is now on Tipic. They'll probably find this kill on the Rubik. Looks like Chrysalis will finish it off himself. In the meantime, Slardar will be next, so a 3-for-0. So a bit of a sloppy initiation, I want to say, from Bait, but they end up on top in that fight for sure.
Did they have Haunt ready the whole time? I think.
Not sure.
Because it's probably a difficult call to make, right? Your Windranger is getting jumped. It looks really bad. But I think if Spectre had the ability to connect on that fight, they could have got turnaround kills, I'm pretty sure. The Spectre is really, really strong. Like, you have Manta. Your damage output is very high with all this attack speed with it. So just need to get in there and fight with your team, I think. But either way, like, it's easy to say from our perspective, right? If their read is, they got Windranger, just get out, like, cut your losses, which is what they did, then peace be with that. But I think it's time to put your Spectre to use now and not let Bait just make another move like this. Silver lining is you didn't lose a tower, but it's still some very, very good kills going Bait's way there into bounty runes as well.
Sure. It's a pretty even game net worth-wise, though. Only a 2k advantage for Bait right now. The problem that I have is when you look at the net worth charts, the discrepancy between the cores from each respective team is not very even. It's really just the Spectre by herself from the
Axe call. They're going to get Rubik
into Arrow, and it's going to be an easy cleanup. They're going to find the Windranger as well inside this Kinetic Field Static Storm combo. A nice net in addition as the second chop for Last Hero. Tier 2 tower.
And this is
so he ended up picking the Crimson Guard, by the way.
It's kind of a similar problem to what MOTACI had last game, right? Where their wave clear is just limited. So these waves are pushed so far in that the Slardar is up top pushing a wave here, and the Spectre is bottom pushing a wave. And in the mid lane, when they try to push that wave, they get jumped. Like, look at where the creeps are on the map. It's so far up because they haven't been able to take the mid tower that Bait can just keep pushing in these lanes and seek opportunities where, if you're MOTACI, I think this Rubik has to steal a wave clear spell, and he has to go on wave clear duty. He needs to steal Nether Toxin, he needs to steal Waveform, Starstorm, whatever it is, and the plays have to largely happen without him, because the other heroes just can't push the waves fast enough. But now it's going to cost them a Roche, and even though MOTACI were off to a better start in this game, I'm starting to lose a little bit of confidence in them as the game progresses now, mainly because of this wave clear issue. You have this really farmed Spectre that wants to fight, but you're just not... You seem unable to set up the fights that it wants.
It doesn't seem like they want to fight with Spectre. That's kind of the problem right now. I mean, she's still farming away, still top net worth. Going towards a Scotty, it looks like. Has one ultimate orb in tow right now.
Good item against Morph.
To go along with already finished Manta style, of course, and Midas, as we've mentioned many a time. Oh, Slaughter is actually going to jump in, miss the crush, and then get instantly called. And this looks like it was a trap set up by Bait, as they're going to take out the Slaughter in quick succession. Luckily to not lose anybody else, as the rest of his squad was actually a little late to the party. But probably for the best in that case. As the tier 2 tower now looks to be Dunzo.
They might go high ground. They have Morph with Aegis.
We've got the shotgun available. After the slow start, has definitely caught up. Third net worth overall in the entire game, only behind for his team at least, the Axe, who went Yules, by the way. So not as cool.
No
as we
Manta. Boo!
Yeah, sad. Boo indeed. As they're going to triple TP actually the bot lane. They're going to use the Mirana ult as well. Curry, they get out of dodge, a Spectral Dagger. Uses Haunt.
Jump to
Where
the
did he
Morph.
end up? Top lane, yeah. And then uses his Midas, so great efficiency from the Spectre this game.
He was going to do that anyway. Whether he got ganked or not, he would have haunted to Midas there. So, made no difference.
That's my kind of Spectre for sure.
That's an Eternal Envy efficiency play right there. You're in the river, and you can save like 5 seconds on your Midas cooldown by haunting next to an enemy. There it is.
So sad and true at the same time. Good, clean stuff. Yeah, the map control is now in the arms of Bait. It feels like it's just wasn't necessary if you're on. Completely forgot their name.
MOTACI.
Morokai. What?
Morokai, yes. Oh, Curry? Okay.
Is that a character from Sherlock or something? That's all I have in my head right now.
It was a custom game that wasn't very popular.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I completely forgot about that. Here's initiation now. Static Storm onto only Axe right now. Onto the Rubik, I should say, as they take him out very, very fast. Last year is going to use his Yules now. Looks like the arrow connected on Tip Tech as Chris is going to go on to town with Enchantress, but goes into the brunt of the enemy team. Basically all alone, but Dendy right-clicking away now. Wind Range is going to be the first to fall after the buyback from the Rubik. It looks to be getting extremely low again, but it's a 2-for-1. As the chase continues, Crystal is able to find one on the high ground. Going to team up with Dendy, who's just continuing to right-click away to his heart's content. Despite the mini turnaround there, it looks like Bait recovered. They did lose 3, but
they're getting so much value out of the Wind Ranger replicate. It's so good. Morph is insanely mobile with it. Keeps getting his own stuns set up easily with shackle shots. So he can just maul targets on his own. But yeah, that was not the worst fight. Finally, a fight from MOTACI where they really got something done. Especially Slardar once again. This corrosive haze is proving to be a killer. But Windrunner, it's tough. Like, the Wind Ranger is definitely being dealt with very well by Bait, and I think the BKB is the turning point where you can finally start committing on targets with BKB plus Corrosive and find key kills. But for now, just not enough, right? It's mainly these last 5 minutes where they just lost so much control and so much gold that this kind of fight 5 minutes ago might have even favored them. But it's just really swung.
I love it when you're... oh, we have to hold that thought. What do I love, Cinderin?
Morokai.
Morokai, yes, that's your backhanded compliments. When you say something like, well, that wasn't the worst fight ever, that how are you supposed to take that positively? These both teams screwed up, essentially, is what you're trying to say. Oh, God, the English language, really, really good stuff. All right, let's do some item progression updates here sooner. People always love that.
Yeah, big fan of
Danny,
items.
Of course, he's had his BKB. Actually, hasn't used it yet. He's actually finished. I believe that Halberd came after, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, correct.
Am I wrong on that?
It's BKB
okay,
Halberd.
So
yeah.
Full BKB Halberd.
Spectre Scotty. That's pretty much all there is to it for the Dire. They're still short on their BKBs. All right, they're gonna get the jump.
Yep, the Haunt comes in. Mirana is going to be instantly destroyed. As the chase is on to Fishman, puts down the Static Storm, but to really no avail.
Nice man to dodge.
Now, but here's the last hero. Jumps in onto the Spectre. Did dodge it, but it's not going to matter, it looks like. He will fall in this engagement, and that means MOTACI need to run. Sprinting away is the Slardar. It looks like they will at the very least find the Enchantress and the Rubik, so the two supports find their way to the graves.
See, it was a really good initiation from MOTACI. It's what you want. It's what you want to see with that lineup, right? They found an opportunity mid, they immediately pounce on it, get the first kill, but then overextending, right? Like, the idea itself is good, the way they do the jump is fine. You just went too deep. Like, maybe you could have turned this initial kill into pressure on that mid tower, but Spectre getting completely stranded. This is your rich carry. Your rich carry can't be between the towers with no support around. It makes it a very fragile and easy target. And Crystallis immediately identified that, went on it. The Spectre even Manta dodged Axe's call. It could have been way worse, but despite that, you're getting stranded here. It's just not an option, right? Nether Toxin plus Morph will kill you in a few seconds. So can't overdive like that.
But the Rax is dead.
Yep. They could go...
Update on the game.
They could have almost gone top lane as well, actually. They push it so fast with this Morph. All right. They fake back.
Jump in again. Enchantress is going to take the brunt here. As last hero, another Culling Blade kill. As Bait now with a 9k net worth.
Well, they're going to smoke
lead.
here. I like it.
Oh, they're doing it again? The fake back a second time?
Oh, if
they can find Curry,
yeah, Spectre
pretty big.
Big kill.
It's very big and very delicious, much like Masumon curry, as looks like Wind Ranger gets destroyed in her base with no buyback to speak of.
Yep. I think you go hit top.
Oof.
I don't know if this morph has to be afraid of anything. They have plenty of protection. They have 2 Yules, but they're gonna respect it. Fair enough. Guess it's time for...
This was a... Sorry, this was a point I was bringing up yesterday, last game, but I didn't get to actually say it out loud, Syndrome. From a competitive standpoint, is there anything that goes through your mind in a game like this where you know you're playing an opponent that's obviously not as good as you, and you're going to be getting ready, in theory, if you make it through the qualifiers, to play good, like tier 1 teams?
Mm-hmm.
You want to play as if you're playing a tier 1 team?
Oh, for
like
sure.
You play it more conservative, or do you just go for the throat when, in actuality, if you're playing like Secret, maybe you don't want to do that in every...
I think developing good habits has a lot of value. So if they think this is the best play, then they should make the best play regardless who their opponents are, to get into the habit of doing the right thing. And it is indeed a trap that you can very easily fall in if you're playing against inferior teams, just to develop
the
that
Haunt
habit.
come out along with the Berserker's Call. Looks like Last Hero is taking a ridiculous amount of damage right now. Chrysalis jumps in. Shackle comes out as well. Morana's going to be the first to die along with the Rubik. So it's a 1-for-1 to start this fight. Dendy pops the
Spectre
BKB.
is
That's
stranded.
the second BKB. He's unkillable as the Spectre falls now. The Axe will as well. So still a 2-for-2, even fight in that regard. But Chrysalis is not done yet. Spectre drops, buys back into the game. Tip Tech gets off a crush. The chase continues as Chrysalis wants to try to find this kill, though. Stolen Shackle is not enough. E-Blade popped, and the Adaptive Strike is more than enough.
That was a
actually back to fight.
Spectre buyback. Oh, boy.
Yes.
If you buy back Spectre...
buyback into nothing.
Yeah, that's rough. That is rough. He used Haunt before the buyback, so can't really reconnect with it. And again, I'm seeing the same problem here for MOTACI, is that the Spectre is just alone in the fight. Goes in the front, starts fighting, gets caught in another Toxin plus Call or Morphling. And yeah, you're staying alive quite a long time with your Manta and Skadi, but you do die, and all of the damage you're taking in this Toxin, your Dispersion isn't reflecting anything. So it's like... It's kind of like you're just soaking damage that nobody else in your team is truly taking advantage of, because the damage just isn't there when he is out of the picture. I still think the way to take fights here from MOTACI is you find a way of initiating where your Slardar and your Wind Ranger come in, and Spectre has to haunt in and play around Corrosive Haze. Spectre's damage is insane together with Slardar, but it's always this kind of fragmented, disconnected fighting they're doing, and it makes Bait's job so much easier. They're going to take initiative here.
Again. Rubik sees him, but it might be too late.
Glimmer.
All right, gonna glimmer up for now. Nice Shackle into the focus fire. Slaughter jumps in with a nice crush in addition. They're going to continue on the Rubik. Looks like the Murana will finish him off, and Slaughter is getting destroyed by a Dendy. It's a 2-for-1 to start. Advantage Bait. Now Curry going to take a Spectral Dagger to the back of his head, and this looks to be the GG, more than likely. The GG push. They can just potentially go for Throne if they want. It looks like they're going to go for the kills instead. There's the Yules into the arrow, into the choppity chop chop chop! And Enchantress is next. So GG's come out. Bait take the series 2-0 against Morakai, otherwise known as MOTACI, otherwise known as MOTACI. I can't remember all the pronunciations.
Wow.
But love you, Cinderin.
Wow, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Where's my love?